What's up, moviegoers of YouTube? Movie Planet News here, and I'm here to bring you this week's movie news. This is Planet-Sized News, where we discuss the latest movie, TV, and Hollywood news. If you like what you see and you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. On to the news. Alright, so the first story we have is about Deadpool 2, which of course just had its screening, and here are some of the reactions that come on. And these two that I picked out that make me really excited for seeing Deadpool 2 because just the stuff they say in the tweets, and I'll read these two off right now. So the first tweet says, so Deadpool 2 is the perfect sequel, doubles down on everything that fans love about the original series, and fixes some of the film's issues. Huge laughs to play the audience like a fiddle. Ryan Reynolds destroys as Wade, great action, fantastic comic nods, and a killer ride. The next one from Matt Singer, which reads as, I like Deadpool more than the first one, which I wasn't a huge fan of. Slow to the start, but all the stuff with X-Force, Cable, and Peter works surprisingly well. Now, this is great, because the first Deadpool, while I did like it, I didn't totally love it like everyone else was loving. So I'm hoping I have the same reaction as him, where I'll just completely love Deadpool 2. There's actually another one which is pretty surprising, and if it is true that I'm going to be blown away by this movie. The next tweet says that it's better than Infinity War. Now, what could that mean? Better in characters or pacing, or what does it do better than Infinity War? That's what I would like to know, but I'll have to, find out when the movie actually comes out. Now, what I'm expecting, which is what the previous tweet said, is more of the same thing from the first one, just done better. And I'm also hoping that the villain is better than the first one too, because the villain in the first one, he served his purpose. That's what he did. He served his purpose as a villain, but as a villain itself, as a character, he really didn't work for me. And I'm hoping they actually fix that and give the villain some kind of at least depth or some kind of character development or something that will make us care about the villain. What are you guys expecting from this movie? Are you expecting good villains, good characters, good pacing? What do you want from this movie to make it at least like a 9 out of 10 or maybe even a 10 out of 10? Moving on, we have some DC news, which is really great DC news. Now, it is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but here it is. Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson and two other unknown directors are being rumored to direct a DC film. Now, this is great news. This goes in line with what I have been saying in my past couple videos, is that DC is getting back on track. They're making better moves than they were before. They're not getting Michael Bay, they're not getting Zack Snyder. Say what you want about Zack Snyder, while he can direct, visually, can't seem to get these characters down correctly. And you need a director that can understand the characters and understand everything about the characters to make it in the story. Now, there are certain things with Zack Snyder that he has done right with the character, that's for sure. They gave Superman, human emotions. They made him feel like a human while still being an alien. So he did that correctly. He did a lot of good things. Fortunately, he wasn't able to weave them into a cohesive story. So getting Peter Jackson for a DC film, maybe Man of Steel 2, I don't know, would be great. If DC can keep getting these directors that have proven in the past that they can handle, universes, good stories, good characters, and make just overall good films, then I think we can get DC back on track, which would be great, because I want some good DC films, just like everyone else does. Which leads me into my next story, which is Flashpoint will no longer be Flashpoint. It will be a solo Flash movie. And this is great, because Flashpoint isn't one of those movies that you can just jump straight into. You need to set things up before you do Flashpoint, because a lot of things in Flashpoint have to deal with characters that are already established in that universe. The animated one was able to do that because they established those characters already in that universe in previous movies. The Flash on the TV show was able to do it because they established, again, characters in the previous universe. They were able to do that. So the DCEU, while it did establish some of the characters, they haven't established all the characters. Like, Aquaman, Flash. We still don't have a Batman solo film. We don't have Man of Steel 2. There are a lot of things that need to be done before you can do a Flashpoint movie. And the Flashpoint storyline would be better suited for the third movie, like Captain America did with the Civil War on its third movie. I'm hoping DC keeps making these great moves, and the reshuffle at DC and Warner Bros. Actually help, and this is what the outcome of that reshuffle was. Because if this is the stuff that comes out after the reshuffle, then I think going forward for DCEU is a really bright future. Speaking of the future of the DCEU, there's actually going to be a Birds of Prey movie. But we have known for a while that there's going to be a Birds of Prey movie. So what we didn't know is that it was being pitched as an R-rated movie now. This is actually pretty interesting, because do we really need an R-rated comic book movie? Does it have to be R-rated? Honestly, I think it depends on the character and the storyline that they're trying to adapt to film, because certain characters don't do well with R-rated, of course. I mean, Superman, again, depending on the storyline, because if you're going to do like an Injustice movie, let's just say an Injustice movie, it obviously has to be R-rated. I mean, in the Injustice storyline, Superman puts his hand through Joker's heart, he kills Shazam. It has to be R-rated. But if you're doing like a storyline where there's not a lot of, dark tones and dark actions by the character, just like a regular Superman movie, it doesn't have to be R-rated. It really depends on not just the storyline and the characters, but that's mostly where it comes down to, is the characters and the storyline. What are your thoughts on R-rated movies? Do you think the Birds of Prey has to be the R-rated? Because I know Harley Quinn in the comics has done, R-rated stuff, so they might be going towards that, maybe more leaning on that kind of stuff, the shenanigans and stuff that they get into in the comics and adapting that to the screen. Or would you just rather have like a regular Harley Quinn that's not R-rated and is less like her comic book counterpart? Moving on, we have a Predator trailer. Now, we haven't really heard too much about Predator in, since the last one came out, and it's kind of flew under the radar. This trailer flew under the radar, so I didn't really know about it until I think it was like a day after it even dropped. But I watched it, and honestly, if I'm being honest, it felt kind of bland and just uninteresting. Sure, there were cool and interesting shots, the laser and the Predator holding the I think it was a woman up to the wall. That was cool, but something about it just felt a little generic and just bland. Now, don't get me wrong, if the next trailer comes out and it's amazing and it blows my socks off, then of course I'll be excited for this movie. But for now, it just left me even less excited than I was before when I heard about this movie. So I'm hoping the next trailer changes my mind, but in any event, I'll still go see it, of course. Alright guys, that's it for this week's movie news. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. And of course, I do this every Friday at 8 a.m. It uploads every Friday at 8 a.m. But unfortunately, I slept a little later because I was kind of tired and I woke up late. So the movie news came a little bit later in the day. Sorry about that. If you like this kind of movie news and you like having all of the movie news rounded up where you can see it in one whole video, hit that subscribe button because you'll see more videos just like this. And I'll also be getting a green screen soon, so this background, this backpack over here and this wall and stuff will be gone and it'll only be me on screen. So that should come in about a week or two in the mail. So once you get all that set up, it'll be a lot better. And that's it. Have a nice day. Alright guys, that's it for Planet-Sized News. Make sure you drop a like below and share it with your fellow peers. If you're interested in more of my content, here it is. And as always, have a good one.